I'm not sure how to start this. So I'm back. I took a little break for the holidays, just being honest with you. I needed the break. There's a lot to concentrate on during the holidays, and I didn't want to concentrate on making a vlog every day. And I'm also just doing a little recalibration on my vlog schedule. Starting the vlogs was a really cool and a big step for me, and I'm really glad that I did it. And it's a process. It's a learning process, and I've realized that if I'm actually doing a vlog for every single workout that I do, and I'm trying to film nearly every exercise that I do, what I realized is that it and I kind of knew this would happen because it's happened in the past, but it takes away my focus. It takes away the whole fun experience of training because I like to crank up my music. I can't do that if I'm wearing a mic and get a nice copyright strike for every video. I can't do that. But I like to have that loud music, and I don't like it in my earphones. I like it around me. I like to get my sub going, actually feel it. It just does a lot for me, and it's really important. It amps me up, makes me train harder. And that's the number one priority, is that I keep something that I'm passionate about, that I keep that enjoyable, and I maximize my experience with that thing that I'm passionate about. And I also don't like to adjust the camera all the time in between sets, trying to get different angles and stuff like that. And I think that if you don't do that, I think that vlog footage of training is, it's kind of boring. And I don't really want to put out stuff that's boring. I want to put out stuff that people like to watch, like you. If I think it's boring when I'm watching it, I can only imagine that you would think it's boring as well. So that's another thing. It takes time. My rest periods were longer than normal. It was just another thing that was pulling me out of the zone. So not the type of music that I want. Getting pulled out of the zone in between sets, moving the camera around, stuff like that. And then I also just found myself being worried that I wasn't going to have something to say as I approached a training day. I'd get ready, I'd be all pumped up to go, and then I realized, okay, I'm on camera a lot for an hour and a half or something like that. I gotta have something to say to the viewer, you. And as somebody that is naturally an introvert, that is not the best feeling. It's not that great. I started to dread it. So I quickly realized that, a daily vlog is not necessarily the best choice for me. But I really want to bring content. I really want to bring the knowledge that I have in my head. I want to give it to you. I want to share it. That is what I really love to do. That's why I do what I do. That's why my career is coaching clients. It's writing books on training. It's helping people face-to-face locally with personal training sessions. That's what I do because I don't, when it came time to choose, do I want to be behind a desk, behind a computer screen? Do I want to be in a lab every day working on science? Or do I want to be doing the thing that feels the most passionate to me, like my calling? I refused to do anything but that. So my passion is to spread knowledge to you. And I know that there's a way that I can do that other than just daily training vlogs. So I'm going to start doing some deeper dives into important training topics. I'm going to start doing my more YQMA series, which is your question, my answer. I think that's great. In the past, that's been awesome. The response has been phenomenal to that in the past. And these are the types of things that I want to do. I do want to do vlogs still, but I'm going to drop the frequency. I'm going to add more variety to them. Maybe not show the whole freaking workout for each vlog. Maybe show tidbits and really focus in on specific exercises. Drop in more meal pics. Talk about nutrition more. Talk about the other mindsets, the other aspects of training, all that good stuff that I think, it's important for everybody to hear that's into it, because if you're into it, you know, you just love talking about anything related to training. So, you know, I just had to get that off my chest, be real with you. I believe in honesty. I believe in being honest. It's you know, it's my number one policy. Be honest, be real, be unfiltered, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I had to tell you this. That's the approach that I'm going to take with these vlogs for the time being. And, you know, like I said, this is a process. I don't anticipate the next format to be the end format, because I think things are still going to change. I'm putting in work with these vlogs. I'm going to get gifts in return. I'm going to be just naturally guided in the direction that these things need to go. So let me cut it off here. I'm just about to start my press day. I am really looking forward to that. So I'm going to film 1 or 2 exercises from this day, really try to get deep with training tips, thoughts, things like that, mental cues, form cues, and that's my plan. So I hope you enjoyed this little talk. You know, I know it was more about me than anything else, but you know, it's a vlog. I'm supposed to be vlogging about me from time to time, and that's just what I had to do here, because I want to be honest with you. All right, today we're going to talk about the 30-degree incline dumbbell press. I wanted to do this tutorial today because this is one of my favorite chest exercises, specifically upper chest exercises. One thing I want to mention quick, right off the bat, this is not today's main tip, but when you're choosing your degree of incline, if you go above 30 degrees, you're generally going to start to activate your front delts more and more. So like a 45 hits them, 60 hits them more, 75 hits them even more. So when I'm trying to do a press and I'm trying to focus on the upper chest, I don't really like to go above 30 degrees. There are times where I have gone above, but through reading more studies, getting more educated on the topic, 30 degrees tends to be that cutoff for me. So I'll hit a 15 degree or a 30 degree. But the main tip I want to talk about today is where you want your dumbbells to be at the bottom of each dumbbell press rep. And you want those dumbbells to be apart. Like, you want to have a wide grip at the bottom. What I like to try to do is I like to try to take the inside edge of the dumbbell and I'll try to hit it, you know, right around my outer pec tie-in area, where it's right up in my armpit, where it's inserting into that humerus bone. This is important. You get a nice stretch at the bottom when you do this, and studies show that if you are loading a muscle under resistance and you're lifting from a stretched position, you're going to incite more growth. I don't know about you, muscle growth is my number one priority. I'm trying to maintain size. I'm trying to gain size. If this is you, you need to make sure that you're using a form during your exercises that gives you full range of motion and a stretched position at the bottom of each rep. Not every exercise is going to be able to have this happen when you're doing it, but many will. And if you have it on your mind and you keep it on your mind, you're going to be more likely to do it. So here we're looking at, well, some flexing, I guess, but here we're looking at that bottom position. See, it's right where my pec inserts into my upper arm bone, that humerus bone, and that allows me to have the wide grip at the bottom. And then as I come up, I'm pushing my pecs together, trying to flex them. Do I touch the dumbbells together at the top? No, I don't. I don't do this because I don't like them to bang off each other and potentially be a reason why I lose control of the dumbbells. The main thing I do, I envision a half circle pattern. If there was a line being traced along my wrist or my hand in space, you would see it's almost like a half circle or a dome where you're apart at the bottom, and then as you come up, they come together a little bit at the top, creating the top of that dome. Now what I'm doing here, all right, now that I've got the tip out of the way, this was just a little drill that I did at the end to improve my mind-muscle connection. And all I'm doing here is I'm just literally squeezing my hands together with my arms out in front, and that's activating my pecs, because my pecs just draw my arms into the center line of my body. So if I squeeze along that center line, it's pure pec activation, it's mind-muscle connection improvement. Okay, that's been my tip for the day. I hope you got a lot out of this. Let's move on to the next segment. Listen for it. Everybody loves that sound, right? I'm at the park right now, which is, a very long drive from home. It's like literally 1 block away. But I just wanted to get in the car, wanted to mix up the scenery a little bit, and for some reason, does it look like everything is blue? Like on my little viewfinder here, everything looks blue, and I'm not really sure why. It's cloudy today, but everything is definitely not blue. But I feel like it looks like I have some type of a filter on here, and I really don't. So either it's not going to look blue when I upload this, and I'm going to sound like a complete idiot right now, or it's going to look blue. I think that's all there is to say. So I wanted to talk about progress pictures today. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I just took a couple yesterday, and I just put a little collage of them together. I'll throw it up right now. But the reason that I felt like talking about it is because it really made me understand like where I'm truly at versus where I feel like I'm at. Because the truth is that during this bulking phase, you always put on some fat, especially as a natural. You're going to put on fat when you bulk. And I feel really soft, and it's a self-image thing. I'm not as soft as I actually feel. And the progress pictures, what they did was they really showed me that, because I was able to get more of like a real objective view of where I'm at. And you can see, I'm still showing definition in my back, throughout my back. Yeah, I have that layer on there, that soft, cushy layer. And I understand, soft for someone who is into bodybuilding, into fitness. Soft to me is like lean and probably even shredded to some people that aren't into it. But to me, I feel soft, and I have that layer that I'm supposed to have. I'm supposed to have that layer when I'm bulking. But the pictures really showed me, you have more definition than you realize and than you give yourself credit for. So you're really doing pretty well with this bulk. You've gained some weight. You're feeling bigger. You're still pretty lean. To have back definition, I think that says something. You can see the traps. You can see rhomboids, teres. You can see all those rear delts, all that stuff all throughout my back. The point is that progress pictures are important. They give you a different type of view of yourself that matters. Because I came out of yesterday's workout feeling extra good about myself, extra confident, and it's because I saw those pictures. I was happy with what I saw in the mirror, versus there's times where, like I said, I'm feeling like hella soft, and you question whether or not you should stay bulking, and that is something that comes from bulking phases in general. I think whether you're natural or not, because whether you're natural or not, you should be gaining some fat. You should be softening up, losing some definition. And that's going to mess with anybody that cares about how they look in the mirror. And I think it's good to care about how you look in the mirror, but it has some costs. And bulking, the mental challenge of bulking, as you're losing definition and getting a little softer, that's one of those costs. But it's totally worth it. You're doing it for growth in the long run. And more knowledge is how you build confidence to know that you're doing something and it's helping you in the long run. So my knowledge here is that it's normal to gain some fat when you're in a prolonged calorie surplus. Completely normal. You're not going to avoid it. Nobody's going to avoid it. More of my knowledge is that this is good for the long run. Like, I'm gaining muscle right now. I'm going to see that more when I cut. I'm going to take that comment right there, and that's going to lead me into the next part of this topic. The fact that the number one emotion that I started feeling when I saw those progress pictures was excitement. And it really was. Because I'm excited to uncover what I'm building here during this bulk. I'm excited for this upcoming summer shred. I'm doing a short-term bulk here. It's a 6-month bulk. I have done several year bulks in the past. That's why I say this is short-term. To me, 6 months it's certainly short-term. But I'm doing 6 months. It coincides really well with my GST size program. It's a 25-week program, roughly 6 months. The size program is going to finish up right at the end of my bulk. and I'm going to run a different GST variant. There's a few out there. I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to run yet. I'm going to either run GST, just the OG version, which is phenomenal, my favorite, or GST volume, which is just, as I said, more volume. It's, to me, it kind of meshes well with cutting because, when you're cutting, you kind of want to do some more reps, get some more pumps, maybe lighten up the weight a little bit, because you're never going to be as strong when you're cutting as when you're in prime bulk mode. But so yeah, I'm super excited for the cut, and the progress pictures of the bulk gave me that excitement. So there's another advantage to taking progress pictures, and of course just like personal tracking, record keeping, things to look back on, all those things are positive as well. I was just about to leave and then I spotted the master bulk squirrel right here. Man, this guy is hella soft, but clearly he's been bulking for a while. He's having a big winter bulk. Man, this guy's gonna be huge and shredded come summer though, you know it. Look at that thing. Well, Merry Christmas to me right here because I got brisket tacos cooking today. I said I was going to bring you in a little bit to the meat smoking side of my life, and well, it's 6:30 a.m. We got the presents out for the kids. We're getting the brisket on because this is going to be probably a 12-hour cook here. So brisket tacos, what I'm going to do with this is I used Cholula hot sauce for my binder. The binder is what you put on the meat, and then your seasonings adhere to that. So I used Cholula hot sauce. I've got the Meat Church Dia de la Fajita seasoning because this brisket is for tacos. And this is a Meat Church recipe. I'm a big fan, and this one is great. I've done this once before, and my family wanted this again for Christmas dinner. So that's exactly what we have here. And I'm about to throw this on at 250. This is going to run for probably 8 hours right off the bat. And then it has a second special step that you typically don't do with briskets. You wrap them in a different way. And the different thing about this brisket is that at the end, this thing gets finely chopped up. So it doesn't have to be perfect, which I kind of like. I like a well-done brisket traditionally, but last time when we had this, it was incredible. And I've also got some pickled onions in the fridge. I've had those in there for 2 days. So this is like a multi-day type meal process. And that's one of the things about smoking. It takes time, but you're giving your family or yourself, something that's really good, really enjoyable, and you put the effort and the work into it, and that's rewarding. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really like it. So yeah, here we go. Brisket tacos. This is step one. It's the brisket with the Cholula binder, with crushed black pepper and Dia de la Fajita seasoning from Meat Church. I'm about to put this in the smoker. 8 hours later, we'll do a check-in. All right, I promised I'd check in. 8 hours later, here we are. Now, what you're seeing here is the brisket hitting 165 degrees, and this is when you want to take the next step on a brisket. You're either going to continue to smoke it or cook it in the oven until it hits about 202 degrees, or you're going to wrap it with either butcher paper or foil. Now, in this case, this is a different type of recipe. So I'm putting this in a foil tin. I'm covering it with foil. But before I do that, you can see I'm putting a stick of butter on top of this, and I'm putting more Cholula hot sauce on top of this. This is for those brisket tacos, as you know, and you can't have too much Cholula, and butter always makes a brisket better. So the next step, you do those things, you cover it up with foil, put it back in your smoker or back in your oven, and you're going to let that baby run until it hits about 202, 203 degrees. Now in these pictures, you're going to see, remember this is brisket tacos, so I'm going to shred this brisket up, and that's what I did when it was done. I cut it up, chopped it up, shredded it up, and from there, it's just adding those pickled onions that I've been preparing for the last couple days. I added some jalapenos that I had prepared as well, also pickled. And from there, it's just enjoying those tacos. Personally, we made our own corn tortillas. That's also very easy. You can buy like a quick, easy tortilla press on Amazon. I think they're like $20, something like that. But that is the best way to make tacos. You make your own tortillas, you make your own meat, you make your own toppings, and your tacos are going to taste amazing. So this ended up being our Christmas Eve brisket taco meal. The family requested it, so I got it together, got it done, and we all loved it. I just wanted to do a quick reminder of the importance of tracking your training, the training journal. I'm just going to look at a Facebook post that I made on this, and then I'm going to read a couple of replies from some friends. So if there's one simple change that so many people can make to improve their progress, it would be for them to log their weights and have a plan on how to make progress with them. Having a log of weights and a plan for progression, it will give you more progress than winging it in the gym. And that's just a fact. So let's get into a couple of these replies here. So Brian L., he says 100% logging sessions is one of the primary differentiators between exercising and training. And Brian, I think you're 100% right. You know, exercising is great. Just moving around, doing something, going into the gym, doing some things, and even if you're just outside, walking around, running every once in a while, stuff like that, you know, doing physical work, that's exercising. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's positive, it's helpful. But there's the next level of that, and that's training. So I had to write back, you know, Brian, right on. Essentially, it will make anyone eventually train if they keep that log and keep a focus on moving up or progressive overload, just making progression. And I think there's some realism to that, because no matter where you start, no matter what you're doing in the gym, if you start off, if you train, if you log your training sessions, actually I should have said if you start off exercising, but you log your training sessions and you log your numbers, and you have that, you know, little voice in the back of your head that says, okay, I got to make some progress. I'm going to make some progress. So you're eventually going to move your numbers up because you have that voice in your head telling you, I'm going to make some progress. You eventually get to the point where you're training. You're no longer exercising. You're actually making focused progress, and you're doing it because you're able to track your numbers. So Brian, I think you're totally right. And like I said, journaling with a focus on progression, it's going to make anyone transition from exercising to training. I also had a really good comment from Britland, and he's talking about like personal experience, and I've experienced this as well. So he says, I can't agree with this enough. I got sort of lazy in 2022 and early 2023 about logging my weights, thinking my intuition was good enough. That's actually a big mistake, and I'm glad that he's admitting that here. So he says, I started logging in August of 2023, focused really hard on adding at least 5 pounds to one exercise a week if I could. Since August, 8 of my lifts are up 30 pounds or more, probably not because I actually added that much strength, but because I was selling myself short before I was tracking. Massive difference, he says. The training journal is definitely going to get you to push yourself, because if you complete your numbers one day and you look back and you're focused on progression, you're going to move up. And that is the push. Like, that's pushing yourself right there. Without the training journal, you would have been like, I'm not really sure what I did last time. This feels tough enough today. And actually, it could be less than what you did last time, or it could be the same. But the point is that it's not more. It's not training. It's not pushing yourself. So you're totally right. And, you know, Britland, my reply to you was, I don't care who you are. You're going to naturally backslide or stall in areas of training without tracking. It's happened to me multiple times, and that's a fact too. You know, I've gone times without training or journaling my training, and that's exactly what happened. Like, I stalled or fell back. I was not making the progress that I could be. And then I said, it's just the nature of the activity. And Britland, awesome comment, by the way. And it is the nature of the activity. Training is hard. It's very difficult to push yourself forward. The nature of us, I think, as humans, is we wanna push, but we don't necessarily do it unless we're made to do it. And I think the training journal can really make you do it. So shout out to you if you're tracking and you're keeping a training journal. you're awesome. If you're not doing it, you're just like one notebook away, one pencil away from starting to track, and you're going to move from exercising up to training. And training feels so much better, and it gives you what you want. It gives you what you're really exercising for. So don't just exercise, train.